Hi, we are continuing our tour of neighborhoods in New Orleans, kind of giving an idea of larger areas and then breaking down smaller neighborhoods within those general areas. We have hopped all around New Orleans in previous videos that I have made. Today's video is going to be the last part of this series. You can watch in any order. So we in previous videos have talked about our cardinal directions in New Orleans, which is river, lake, downtown, uptown. And so today we are going to hop across the river. So if you go to the bottom of the screen and you see how the river kind of curves up like this, that little area is the general way to describe it is Algiers, but as you can see, it's broken up into several different neighborhoods. And so we're going to talk about those today. At the very tip of this point, it's aptly named Algiers Point. It is one of the oldest neighborhoods in the city. It was kind of settled before New Orleans was even incorporated in the late 1700s. It is very, very similar to uptown New Orleans. It's very similar to the Irish Channel. It has homes that are similar in architectural style. They were obviously built at this around the same time. Lots of gingerbread features and lots of molding, lots of color, a lot of character in these homes. And for the most part, just like you would find in other parts of uptown, they're mostly going to be single family homes and multifamily, mostly doubles, duplexes, and triplexes. These homes are also going to be a little bit closer together than your typical suburban neighborhood. Algiers Point has a really cool, funky vibe. They've got lots of local neighborhood bars, restaurants. There's the very funky children's park that is decorated with, local artwork. It's just a really, really cool place to visit and to live. I've had many friends live in Algiers Point and they love the community feeling of it. It's also super convenient to many different parts of New Orleans that you would want to get to. You can take the ferry right there into the French Quarter, hop off, walk to Jackson Square. You're right there you're in the French Quarter, just a ferry ride, or you can take the Crescent City Connection, which is a bridge that connects those two parts of the city. So moving down, so this map kind of explains it in a different way. We've got Whitney in the U.S. Naval Base. And where you see McDonough on this map, this is interesting because between Algiers Point and that neighborhood, they're separated by like an overpass, and on the other side of that, it's really just not developed as much for whatever reason. It's taken a little bit longer on that side to develop, but as all other parts of New Orleans, there's some beautiful renovated homes there. There has been several developers come in and do tons of new build homes there. So it's a little bit different than what you might find in the Algiers Point area. Still a lovely place to be, very convenient. So right underneath where this says Whitney and the U.S. Naval Base. So the U.S. Naval Base still is there. We've got a big military a concentration of military families over here in Algiers, but we call this Federal City, and it's actually has really interesting history. It's formerly the site of naval support activity in New Orleans. After the base closed in 2011, they embarked on a significant redevelopment effort, transitioning this area into a mixed-use community mostly residential, some commercial spaces. It's being rebranded as the New Orleans Riverside at historic Algiers. It does, you see a lot um, of the edge of that neighborhood is along the river. Um, and the vision for this neighborhood is public-private partnership. It wants to transform the former military property into a multi-purpose community, business parks, retail, civic spaces, and housing. It's a big economic development initiative for Louisiana, and it's intended to create housing and economic opportunities, which is great. We never can have enough of those. So if you move along where that says Berman and Old Aurora, Tall Timbers, we're going to focus. I mean, all of this is considered to be Algiers. So we'll do Berman first. Like this is Algiers. When you think about Algiers, this is what you're going to think about. These homes were built a little bit later. They don't have as much historical significance. This area feels more suburban, a lot busier, like main corridors with like more strip mall type developments. The homes here were built much later, but they're not new. Well, they were developed, in the late 70s and early 80s. And so that's Berman and Tall Timbers. Tall Timbers you're going to find to be more, it feels established. The yards are bigger, very desirable part of town to move. All of this really is. It's just a little bit different because you're coming from Algiers Point, which is very historical, into these neighborhoods that were just developed a little bit later. Still wonderful areas to be. And then we're going to move a little bit further down to where you see Old Aurora. That is also Aurora Gardens is like a micro community within Old Aurora. It's a quaint little neighborhood. It's very family friendly. It was originally the site of Aurora Plantation and played a part in the Battle of New Orleans in the early 1800s. It has a very high percentage of home ownership, lots of fenced-in yards, off-street parking, lots of mature trees in this neighborhood. The average lot size is about a quarter of an acre, which is pretty large for many neighborhoods in New Orleans. It's very walkable. And the average, I guess, age for this neighborhood is trending a little higher. It's retirement, getting into retirement age. So it's very quiet and quaint and walkable and very community centered in Aurora Gardens. So residents like to do gardening and home improvement and other homebound activities. And prices have really like shot up in Aurora Gardens recently. And then when we're going to get down to the bottom of the map, you can see it's New Aurora English Turn. I have not heard this called New Aurora before. English Turn is a gated golfing community. We don't have many of those, to be quite frank, in New Orleans. The other ones are in Jefferson Parish, outside of Orleans Parish. We do have golf courses at Audubon Park and City Park. This is a legitimate, developed, gated golfing community. They, just like any other country club, they have restaurants, they have a gym, they've got a pool, there's tennis. The homes here are going to be larger than some other neighborhoods. They are newer builds, they're homes on slabs. Like many of them are 2-story homes. stucco or brick, like very French countryside type of architecture there. Now it does take about 30 minutes. It's about a 30-minute drive with normal traffic from, let's say, if you're getting on the interstate down there in the CBD Lower Garden District, it takes about 30 minutes to drive to English Turn. And so if you're wanting to be closer to the city, closer to, you know, where everything is, might not be the best choice for you. You might want to choose, somewhere in Algiers or somewhere across the river. But if you love that developed neighborhood feeling, sidewalks where kids are going to be riding bikes, the community club or the country club feeling, English Turn is a really great neighborhood for you to consider. Okay, there's no way that I could have done every single neighborhood in New Orleans at all, or completely do them all justice. But I will, as time goes by, get into more nitty gritty of some of these neighborhoods individually, instead of doing one video with 5 or 6 neighborhoods at a time. But hopefully I've given a good overview. As always, feel free to reach out.